Welcome to another episode of entitled Parents, where in this story, my mother steals my identity. Let's jump right in. Entitled mother calls animal control after her daughter chokes my dog. This happened around 3 years ago when I was 17, and it still makes me anxious to this day. I had, and still have, a lovely Doberman named Penny. Penny is my best friend in the entire world, and I can't imagine a life without her. She's helped me through the worst times in my life and is just overall the perfect dog. She's older and more calm now, but back when this occurred she was prone to anxiety around strangers and would sometimes growl if someone approached her too suddenly. She's a rescue. I should point out that I also have extreme anxiety, and even though it's not as bad now, it was cripplingly bad. Like, give me a weird look and I'll start crying, bad. What a pair Penny and I make. It was summertime, so on this particular day I decided to take Penny to a local dog park. It's important to note that this isn't a huge dog park, just a fenced-in area with fake grass up against the parking lot of the adjacent pet store. So because of Penny's anxiety and mine, I try to only take her when there were only a couple other dogs or people there. Today was no different, just a woman, her kid and their dog in the park, our entitled mother and entitled kid. I go in with Penny and all as well for the most part. I notice entitled mother has her kid, entitled kid, running around playing with the dog. That's all fine and good, but entitled mother does nothing to warn her daughter, who looks to be on the younger side of 3, that another dog she doesn't know just entered the park. After noticing this, I let entitled mother know that my dog has pretty bad anxiety and can get stressed and sometimes growl if she's startled by a person she doesn't know. Entitled mother seems to understand, or maybe she just pretended to, but nothing changed. Entitled kid is still running around playing with her dog while Penny is wandering around tentatively. The layout of the park is kind of important. Most of the park consists of a long runway where dogs can play, and next to the entrance is a covered area with some benches. Anyway, entitled kid finally comes back over to her mom and Penny and the other dogs start to play happily. After maybe 15 minutes or so, Penny wanders back over to me looking tired, and I'm nervously chatting with entitled mother. Conversation with people I don't know is a huge stressor for me. This is where shit starts to hit the fan. As I'm sitting still chatting with entitled mother, entitled kid walks up to Penny and puts her arms around her neck. Now, Penny is used to being touched and she's been around this girl long enough that she's less nervous around her now. Not wanting to take any chances though, I start to tell the girl to please let go. That's when entitled kid starts whining and I see her start to squeeze her arms around my dog's neck. Of course, Penny freaks out and whips her head back trying to get away. This startles entitled kid and she falls down, scraping her cheek on the ground. Entitled mother ducking loses it. She starts screaming, "Your dog just bit my daughter," and "Get that mutt out of here," and "Why would you bring a dangerous dog to a park?" I instantly feel myself about to cry. I don't know what to do. I have a scared dog, a crying child and a screaming mother to confront, and I've never been in any situation like this before. I start to panic, and as fight or flight kicks in, I choose the latter. I clip Penny into her leash and race back to my car and speed away. I know, I should have stayed and talked to the mom and tried to help her kid after putting my dog in the car, but it's not the first thing I, a 17-year-old girl, thought of while being screamed at by an angry mother who is now convinced that my dog is the devil incarnate. The second I drive away I just start sobbing. I'm crying so hard I can barely see the road, and have to pull over multiple times on the way home just to cry. During this time I manage to call my mom and tell her the whole story, and she says she'll be home soon. I finally get home and lock myself in my bedroom and just wait for my mom to get there. Maybe 20 minutes later, there's a knock at my door. I look outside and see a ducking animal control van sitting in my driveway. I instantly start crying again, and thankfully just at that moment my mom pulls up as well. I kept hiding in my room, too scared and upset to see anyone, but this was the conversation as it was told to me by my mom. "Hi, are you blank?" "Yes, that's me. Did something happen?" "We got a call about an aggressive dog at a dog park who reportedly bit a child, and the car the dog owner drove away and is registered to your name." "I see. Well, my daughter was the one at the park. She's only 17. "Oh, the woman who called told us an adult woman took off with her aggressive dog after the dog bit her daughter on the face. Do you know anything about this?" "That girl was choking the dog." The dog snapped her head away and the girl fell down. That's how she hurt her face. I figured it was something like that. The picture of the bite didn't look very much like a bite to me. That was about all that came of the entitled mother's animal control call. Because they were called, they had to at least give us a warning, but I already knew I'd never be going back to that park. Luckily, nothing worse happened, and Penny got lots of treats for having to deal with all that. What a day. Should have called John Wick so that they can quote, talk unquote, to the mother. Kidding aside, I feel bad for Penny because she experienced this. It's the fault of the mother for not teaching her baby to handle others' pet. She can't be allowed to the park if she kept doing this. I'm a kind person, but when that person hurt an adorable dog, well, that's another conversation. 4 years ago I was homeless and bankrupt, because my mother stole my identity. Today, I bought my first house. 4 years ago I had my identity stolen, by my own mother. She took out loans and credit cards in my name, somehow the bank allowed this, and racked up thousands of dollars in unpaid loans and credit cards. A bank actually sued me, unbeknownst to me, because my mother had her address listed under the loan, and the court granted them a levy against my bank account to take out $10,000 plus and put it towards my unpaid mortgage loan. This, along with a ton of credit cards falsely taken out in my name, my credit score plummeted to below 400. I couldn't even get a one-bedroom apartment in the worst city in the state. I was homeless, slept in my car, but then my car broke down and I had to trade it in for a working one, cheaper and smaller, so I couldn't sleep in my car anymore, not enough room. I got a hotel room, but it quickly became too expensive on my minimum wage budget. I spent about 2 weeks sleeping in the park before I saved up enough money to score a weekly rate with a hotel, which was infested with cockroaches and filth. I spent about 3 months at the hotel, spending literally every time I had on the weekly charge plus terrible Chinese takeout food from the Rite Aid nearby. The Chinese guy knew me so well that he would pad my plate full of food. I suppose he could sense my struggle. Finally, after 3 months, I was able to pass a licensure test that allowed me to get a job paying a few bucks extra than minimum wage. The few bucks made a big difference and allowed me to start saving money, instead of just dumping it every week. My credit started to slowly go up, too, but not much. I was somehow able to score a one-bedroom apartment literally right across the street from the one that declined me 3 months ago. I still had terrible credit, but I guess he was willing to take a chance on me if I could pay the deposit, which no I could. A few months go by, and I start saving more money, but not much. Then I earned my degree about a year later, with a few dollars in savings. I was able to get a much better job with a much better salary. It wasn't a crazy amount, but it allowed me to start saving more. I saved every penny, other than for rent, car payment, gas and food. I didn't even have insurance. I got pulled over and explained the situation to the officer, and miraculously he let me go. He told me to get insurance though, and about 6 months later I did. Wow, good for you to recover, even if it's just small steps, it's great. Okay, let's continue the story. Fast forward 3 years later, after saving every penny, and doing literally everything I can to build my credit. Paying off my mother's debts she put in my name, pleading with debt collectors, claiming hardship and getting reduced amounts to pay, everything you could imagine. My credit started to slowly go up. I made every payment on time and didn't go above a 18% utilization rate. I wore the same t-shirt and pants to work every day. My co-worker commented on it once, and before I could say anything she goes, "But you probably just have tons of the same shirts, huh?" Like Mark Zuckerberg. If only she knew how different. But shout out Zuck for saving me on that one. The last part was funny, but still, what kind of mother that only cares about your money? Fast forward to a few months ago, when I started browsing to get a new rental because my landlord is actually Satan. I won't get into details, but I'm sure y'all can imagine. I start looking for rentals and they're so expensive. I think, duck it, why don't I just buy a house? I laughed. I knew there was no way I could pay a house. A former loser, homeless, bankrupt kid with no family like me owning a home. Forget about it. But I was intrigued. So I called a real estate agent and she told me I need 20% down payment. Damn, I definitely don't have that. I gave up. But I got interested again. Now with my lease running out after turning a 30 days notice in and my best rental option a one-bedroom shack for 4 times what it's worth. I called another real estate agent. I told her I don't have much money to put down, and she tells me, that's okay, you might qualify for an FHA loan. What the freak? What the freak is an FHA loan? I ask. Long story short, I did qualify and was able to look for houses with 3.5% down payment. Wow, truly life-changing. Then, I found this beautiful home with a view and snagged it. My realtor was worried it wouldn't be approved for FHA, but it came through and it was. That's good for you, but I hope your mother became a better person and give back everything what's really for you. You have to file a police report for identity theft. Entitled mother treats my baby like a doll. My aunt, entitled mother, is carrying the child of a man who already has 2 daughters from a previous marriage. P is 12 years old and D is soon to be 6 years old. The other day my mother had a little get-together to celebrate my aunt's birthday. Me and my 4-month-old baby were there along with my aunt, her BF, and his 2 daughters. My mother keeps all toys, especially since my youngest brother is 8, so there are many toys ranging from toddler to older. All are kept in my brother's room where I am currently staying as he is spending the week at his dad's, and we all thought it would be convenient for the baby that I take his room while I'm visiting. The baby was asleep in his crib when D, familiar with the house, immediately throws herself in the room to play with the toys. So I pull her out, tell her a baby is sleeping in there and to let it sleep. There are toys in a toy box in the corridor, she can play with those for the moment. She still manages to slip in the room while we're all speaking and starts loudly playing in the room. That of course wakes up my son. My aunt's reply, she's 6, you couldn't exactly expect her to talk with us. I didn't, she had toys. But once the baby is awake the interest shifts and the girls stick to me repeating, wow, he looks like a doll. He's not girls, he's a baby, a real one. At first it was fun, my son seemed into it. P, the older one, was nice, respectful, giving him toys, but D was out of control and no one was saying a damn thing. It's not my job to educate others' children, but she kept making big movement around the baby and screaming and tried to grab him a few times. I tried to be nice, say loud enough for her parents to react, they just look at me like, kids will be kids. I didn't feel safe anymore. Then D asked if she could hold him. Big no, huge no. I let my brother hold him while he's sitting down next to me because I trust him, but this little electric pill standing jumping everywhere. No way. And I said, no. She started whining, please, please, just like I was refusing her a toy. So my aunt said, let her hold him a bit, it'll be fine, she'll have a baby sister soon anyway. I insisted, it's still no. I explained she was too young and he's heavy and I don't feel safe. So she started getting mad, saying I'm too uptight. D should be able to hold my baby, she'll sit down so you feel safer. So D sat down next to me and tried grabbing my son. I honestly almost shoved her against the wall. My baby was annoyed at this point, faces he doesn't know everywhere, loud voices, someone trying to grab him, so I just got up and left the room. Kids will be kids is not an excuse. You have to discipline your baby, trust me, they need to be disciplined when they're young or else they will turn into an entitled kid. I could hear her complain to my mom about how I'm too serious and paranoid. My mom didn't say anything because she adores her sister, but she clearly felt relieved I refused. Entitled mother was always annoying, but she was on a whole new level that day. It's scary people who think they have a say in what happens to your baby. I hate it when spoiled bratty kids do whatever they want, but of course you can't blame them, since it's the parents' fault for turning them into an entitled kid. Sooner or later they're the ones that becomes entitled person Karen. Thank you for watching, and please watch this video for the meantime, and subscribe to my channel for more content. I'll see you on the next video.